IIT Roorkee, as we have the first session with sir, and I don't think there is more introduction is required about sir. Only one introduction. He is one of the passionate teacher being in our country. So sir, thank you for being with us here. Now we can proceed for the session.
Okay, very good morning to all the participants. Uh, in the previous lecture, that was the first lecture, I think, we discussed about the converter, different type of power electronic converters, the harmonics produced by these converters. And today we are going to discuss power quality problems and solutions. You have already gone through one session on power quality simulation by Dr. Shailen Jain. He might have covered some of the things. So I'll try to review the things. Maybe some of the points are just repetition. Uh, what is first we should know what is power quality. We are using this particular term again and again very frequently. So the meaning of power quality should be clear. And what are the reasons for poor power quality? What are their effects on system if the power quality is not good? And then how to improve the quality of the power. So these are the four subheadings of today's lecture. First, the meaning of power quality, then the causes of poor power quality, then the effect of these poor power quality problems, and then the solutions. Now, as we know that the power which we are getting, that is basically a nearly constant voltage, constant frequency supply. Frequency is 50 Hz with some percentage plus minus. Voltage is also fixed, and the voltage level may be either 415 or single phase 230 sinusoidal voltage for the users, and for the medium voltage applications we have 1 kV to 35 kV, the standard voltage. Uh, from where we are getting this power, uh, there are your generating stations. They generate this particular type voltage, which is stepped up through transformer, then transmitted using transmission lines, then distributed using distribution transformer, and then it comes to the customer. It means from the generating point to the user point, you have lot many transformers, transmission line, etc. coming in picture, and all they constitute some impedance. So whenever the current flows through the impedance, there is a voltage drop. So that power system impedance, uh, which includes the impedance of transmission lines and the transformers, that is responsible for the voltage difference between the user and the between the customer and the supply voltage point. So naturally at the transmitting end, sending end, the voltage is higher, and at the user end the voltage is little bit less. And that's what uh, generated voltage is sinusoidal, and the voltage that we are getting is also sinusoidal. Now, the very first question that comes in our mind, why the generated voltage is sinusoidal? Why not a square wave or a triangular wave or a trapezoid or any other shape? In fact, if we see the applications um, we are having right now in today's world, most of the applications they need DC because they are processor based or um, applications. And if you have a square wave, then rectifying that square wave will give you much better DC as compared to sinusoidal voltage. But still we go for the sinusoidal voltage. And the reason is that the sine wave is the only wave which remains unchanged from the generating point to the user point. If you have a square wave or a triangular wave or any other shape, then the shape of the waveform gets changed. And the main reason is you have the transformer in between, step up, step down transformers. If you give a square wave to primary of the transformer, secondary will not be a square wave. It will be having spikes only. Similarly, because transformer works, it is as good as differentiator. But if you have a sinusoidal voltage as the input, your output will also be sinusoidal. There may be a phase change of 90°. That is different thing, but shape remains same. And that is one of the main reason why we generate sinusoidal voltage and use it. In fact, generating sinusoidal voltage is not easy because the generators, synchronous generators that we have to properly shape the pole shoes so that the generated voltage is sinusoidal. If we have constant air gap all throughout the pole shoe, then the voltage generated will be a flat topped. That's what we have in DC machine. But here we want sinusoidal, so we have to properly shape the pole shoe of the synchronous generators. Another reason is if only sinusoidal voltage is there and the current is also sinusoidal, then the losses in the transmission and the distribution system will be minimum, because only one frequency currents are there and losses will be only corresponding to this particular frequency. It also reduces the interference. This point will be clear later on when we come to the current harmonics. But main reason is this one. Now, what is power quality? If you see the basic application, sometimes your AC is not working properly, your tube light is not working properly, and what we say, the quality of power is not good. What is power quality? There are several definitions given by different persons. One of the definition is that if your equipment is working properly as it is supposed to, then we say the power quality is good. We never say that voltage is not sinusoidal, frequency is not 50 hertz, or there are some spikes in this. If the equipment is working fine, we say the power quality is good. And therefore, the definition is, it is a set of electrical boundaries that allows a piece of equipment to function in its intended manner, the desired manner, without significant loss of performance or life. In fact, if you consider a normal bulb, and if the voltage is not exactly 230 volt, the rated voltage, if it is slightly more, then the life of the bulb is reduced by almost 47%. Some data is there. Because there is this increase in voltage, there will be increase in the heat generated, and that reduces the life of the bulb. So as long as your system is working as per designed one, it is good. Power quality is good. And if there is any change in voltage, current, or the frequency that results in failure of the equipment, then we say the power quality is poor. There is one more way of saying, it is the disturbance that change the supply RMS voltage or its wave shape or the frequency. These are the three important parameters to define the power quality, whether the supply voltage is RMS value is not the rated one, the shape is not the sinusoidal, and the frequency is not the rated one. And there are several sources which may generate these disturbances. Power quality is the general term, but even if you want to design any filter, or if you want to see whether power quality in a particular location is good or bad, it is actually the voltage waveform. If you are getting a sinusoidal voltage at your point. Hello? Hello? Yes, please.
Jay Kumar.
Any query? Any
No,
problem?
no, sir. No, sir. No, sir. You continue.
Okay. So if the voltage which we are getting at our point, at our end, is sinusoidal and good, we say power quality is fine. We do not bother about the frequency is exactly 50 hertz or not, or the voltage is not exactly sinusoidal. So although power quality is the general term, but voltage waveform is the uh, is main thing which is to be addressed. Even while designing the filters, we have to consider the voltage waveform. Now, frequency variation, voltage variation, and the waveform variation, as I said, these are the three things. Either voltage is not the rated one, frequency is not the rated one, or the waveform is not sinusoidal. Frequency variation is something which is frequency variation is something which is very rare, because governors are good enough to take care of the speed of the generators, and frequency is very much within the acceptable range. Yes, voltage variation is one problem, and waveform variation, waveform distortion is the main problem. Voltage variation may be long duration, you can have short duration, you can have voltage imbalance, you can have voltage fluctuation, you can have transient. As far as the first these four are concerned, in all these cases, the voltage is sinusoidal, although it may be different than the rated one. And there are different reasons to have over voltage, under voltage, or sustained interruption, or you can have sag, swell, like that, voltage imbalance, voltage fluctuation. In all these cases, voltage waveform remains sinusoidal. Yes, there are, in this particular case, you have spikes, waveform is slightly different than the sinusoidal. But this impulsive transient or the oscillatory transient, they are only for very short period, maybe part of a cycle, not that they are sustained type of oscillations taking place. Whereas this long duration or short duration, they are for certain period, and large number of cycles are involved where the voltage is different. And if you see over voltage, if there is an over voltage, there will be over stress on insulation, and your life of the cable, your capacitor, etc., that will deteriorate. Under voltage means more current will be drawn by the motor to have the same power, that increases the heat, that reduces the life of the machine. Unbalance also creates unbalanced current, and only that extra current leads to, we can always decompose it in positive sequence, negative sequence, and zero sequence. Only the positive sequence current will be responsible for the desired torque, negative sequence and zero sequence, they will give you extra heating. Neutral ground voltage, that is one of the main problem in malfunctioning of some of the devices. Interruption, sag, swell, fluctuations. Fluctuations means the light flicker. So it is still a sinusoidal voltage, but the magnitude keeps on changing at very low frequency, maybe 2 hertz or 5 hertz. But in all these cases, the voltage waveform remains sinusoidal. As far as power quality, which we normally deal, it is about the shape of the waveform. That is the distortion. And we have already discussed in the first lecture, your current waveform may not be exactly sinusoidal. So distortion means it is a steady state deviation from the ideal sine wave. And it is characterized by the spectral content of the deviation. You can always do the harmonic analysis and find out what are the components present in the waveform. These are the 5 main type of distortions: DC offset, harmonics, interharmonics, notching, and noise. And there are different applications where which are responsible for these type of distortion. DC offset. If you consider a single phase half wave rectifier, the very first one which we discussed, your load current is unidirectional. And if the load current is unidirectional, it means unidirectional current flows through the transformer. And that transformer gets saturated. So it will create a distortion in the voltage waveform. That unidirectional current means a DC current is flowing through the transformer secondary and also primary, and that basically is something like DC offset. Harmonics, interharmonics. Harmonics means integral multiple of the fundamental. Interharmonics means other than that integral multiple. You can also have subharmonics which are less than the fundamental. Notching, whenever there is a switching, and noise. Let us see one by one quickly these. So here you can see in this diagram, you have a sinusoidal voltage applied, but the load is a non-linear load, maybe a rectifier, any converter, any non-linear load. And because of that, the current is non-sinusoidal. So the harmonics are due to distortion of the voltage or current waveform. Here you can see because of the current waveform is distorted. This distortion comes from nonlinear devices. This is your nonlinear device, and which is mainly responsible for this non-sinusoidal current. And we know that these are the additional frequencies present in the voltage or the current, and which are integral multiple of the fundamental frequency. I am quickly going through this because these points we have already discussed. So any distorted waveform which is periodic in nature, we can easily decompose it into sum of fundamental and the harmonics using Fourier analysis. And that also gives not only the magnitude, that also gives the phase angle. What are the causes of harmonics? Even before these converters, power electronic converters were they came, you have these type of transformers, rotating machines, arc furnace in use. They are also responsible for the non-sinusoidal current. And now you have modern devices like fluorescent lamps, electronic controls, switch mode power supply, any converter controlled power electronic converter, all are responsible for the harmonics. Certainly, these are now more dominant, but even before this, these devices were also responsible for the harmonics in the system. So these power electronic converters include rectifiers, inverters, static VR compensators, cycloconverter, HVDC. Everywhere you use converter, inverter, which are responsible for the non-sinusoidal source current. Like we have seen in case of single phase bridge converter, you have square wave, which is having all odd order harmonics. Although the magnitude keeps on decreasing, but these harmonics are present. And if we have a 6-pulse converter, we have either quasi-square like this on secondary side, and the primary side we can have this stepped waveform. And these waveforms, they have dominant 5th and the 7th harmonic. Triplets are absent. We also discussed that in case of converters, whenever there is a switching taking place, so incoming thyristor commutates the outgoing thyristor. In fact, during that period, because of the transformer impedance, the supply gets shorted for a short moment, that overlap angle. We discussed in the previous lecture, transformer impedance is responsible for this particular one. And what happens when this gets shorted? There is a slight change in the voltage, and that comes in the form of spike. So it is deviated from the sinusoidal voltage. In fact, if you see the harmonic spectrum of the voltage, you may not find any harmonic corresponding to these spikes. And the reason is, it's not that these notches are not periodic. They are periodic. They have certain frequency, but most of the harmonic, the power quality analyzers that we use, they record harmonics up to 49th order, or they record harmonics up to 99th. But here the frequency of these notches are, as compared to fundamental, is much higher, and that's why you may not be able to see these the effect of these notches in the harmonic spectrum. If you have a 12 pulse converter, yes, there is a dominant 11th and 13th harmonic. And if you have 24 pulse converter, there will be dominant 23rd and 25th. So power electronic converters are one of the main source of injecting harmonics, or you can say drawing non-sinusoidal current from the source. And we have already seen this is the general expression Pn plus minus 1 for finding the order harmonics. P number of pulses per cycle, and just any integer. So in 6 pulse converter, you have 5th and 7th. In 12 pulse converter, you have dominant 11th and 13th, and so on. In fact, in all these cases, we have assumed the load current to be near constant. Now, when we find out the harmonics of these converters, we basically assume the load current to be constant, and therefore the referred current to the source side is either square waveform, or it is a quasi-square, or it is a 12 pulse, or it is like this. And we can easily do the analysis. But your load may be such that your DC side current is not a constant current. Like, first let us complete this. Now, even if your DC side current is a constant current, so you can have either quasi-square if it is a star-star, or it is a delta star, so it is a 6-step waveform. Now, both are non-sinusoidal. But when we talk about the harmonics, it's not necessary that we should always talk about an individual application. In any industry, there might be multiple drives in use. All drives may be are drawing basically current from the supply, and they might be operating at different firing angle, those converters. So if the converters are operating at different firing angles, the net current which is drawn from the supply by that industry as a whole may be different than the individual current. Like in this particular figure, you have two drives. One is fed through star star, another is fed to delta star, the converter. And therefore, the current drawn from the supply, one is drawing of this nature, another of this nature. If the phase angle, if both are operating at same firing angle 0, the resultant drawn from the supply is like this, which is basically a 12-step current, more close to sine wave. But if the firing angle of one is 0 and another is 30°, the current drawn is like this. If one is operating at 0 and another at 150°, current drawn is like this. So the point to be noticed here is that rather than talking of power quality of an individual application, industries, they basically consider the current which is drawn from the supply in total. And whatever precaution they have to take to eliminate the harmonics, they should do it at this point rather than individually here and here. So in all these applications, the load current is assumed to be a constant, the DC side current. But if your application is, let us say, converter fed DC drive may be in continuous current mode, it may be in discontinuous current mode. And if that is the case, your load current will have ripples. And if you see the rippled current, it is having pulses like this. Rather than a quasi-square, it is having pulses. Now, the harmonic spectrum of this one will be different than the harmonic spectrum of that quasi-square. In the literature, methods are there to find out the harmonic spectrum of such type of so if your current is continuous but they have ripples like this, or it's a constant. If it is constant, yes, fifth harmonic is 20%, 1/5. Seventh harmonic is 13 point some percent, 1/7. 11th harmonic is 9 point some percent, 1/11. But if the current is having ripples, so in terms of ripple ratio, methods are there that the harmonics are like this. You can notice that the harmonics, fifth harmonic keeps on increasing as the ripple increases. Seventh harmonic also increases, 13th harmonic also increases. So it is difficult to say that what will be the harmonic spectrum if the drive is operating in this mode. You can have that locomotive power circuit where you have multiple motors connected to the that single phase supply 25 kV through half controlled converters. And in locomotives, depending upon the speed requirement, either one machine or two machine, they come in operation. So if only one machine is there, yes, current is something of this nature. If one converter is in full operation, another converter is operating at some firing angle, the resultant current is like this. And if both the converters are operating at nearly 0, then the current drawn is like this. It means the current drawn from the supply, it keeps on changing with the operating condition. You cannot predict that. If you have In fact, one more thing is there in this. Even if you have this particular converter, here we assume that all devices are being triggered at same firing angle. The impedance of all the phases are exactly same. The voltages of all the phases are exactly same. But in practice, voltages may be slightly unbalanced. The impedance of each phase may not be exactly same. The firing angle that you have implemented, firing angle may not be exactly same for all the devices. And if any of this particular situation is present, then it is difficult to find out the harmonic spectrum. And these harmonics are then called uncharacterized harmonics, because we cannot find out what will be the harmonic if the firing angle of the devices are not same. What will be the harmonics if the impedance of leakage impedance of each phase transformer, each phase of the transformer is not same. So whatever harmonic analysis we normally do, that assumes all conditions are ideal. But if the voltages are unbalanced, the firing angles are not same of all the devices, then you have uncharacterized harmonics, and you cannot predict those harmonics. You can also have adjustable speed drive, one of the major application in today's time, where we have converter, uncontrolled diode bridge rectifier, and then you have the inverter. Now this diode bridge rectifier, it will draw the current from the supply depending upon the load requirement. Maybe it is a pulse current like this. Whenever the capacitor voltage falls below the line-to-line voltage, a current will be drawn. So there may be two current pulses in half cycle. And if you do the harmonic spectrum, it is having fundamental, fifth, seventh, and yes, other odd harmonics may be present other than triplets. If the speed of the machine is different, then you may have current like this, or you may have current like this. They have different harmonic spectrum. Like in this case, if it is operating at rated speed, you have third harmonic of this magnitude, fifth harmonic is quite large, then seventh, like this. But if the machine is running at, this is one particular application, 42% speed, then third is very small, fifth is very small, seventh is also small. So it is not, you cannot say that if the machine is running under rated condition, the harmonic spectrum will be good. It depends on so many other things. But if you put some choke in series with this one, in fact, then the harmonic spectrum is improved. It is without any choke. This is with some percentage of the 3% of the transformer impedance. So that is put here. Now in this case, without choke, you can see the THD is very high all throughout. But if you put a choke, then the THD is drastically reduced. Reason is, choke is something like an inductor. An inductor has a tendency to avoid the current change, instantaneous current change. So if the drive is giving a peaky current, drive In the absence of any such this thing, the input current is peaky. But because of the inductance, the current increases or decreases gradually, which is something like inductor works as a filter. If you have a cycloconverter, we have seen in that lecture, the two anti-parallel converters, and the firing angle of the converter is continuously changed. So it basically gives rise to interharmonics, 5.28 harmonic, where cycle to cycle the waveform is different. Whereas if it is a periodic waveform, you have fifth harmonic, all cycles are identical. Then there is another case. First, we have considered the load current to be constant, which is basically in large rating converters. Then you have a medium rating converters where the load current is not a constant. It may be a peaky current. It is having pulses. Then you have very low rating converters, TV, battery charger. All these are basically very low power applications. And if you have a simple power supply, this is old type of power supply, where a capacitor and a diode bridge rectifier is used. So in every half cycle, whenever the input voltage exceeds the capacitor voltage, a peaky current is drawn. So the current is having dominant third harmonic. And most of the house application, residential applications, they have single phase such type of load, and therefore each load is drawing a third harmonic current. And all these third harmonic currents, they flow through the neutral gets overloaded. You can have SMPS, where you have uncontrolled converter. Then you have switch, your basically that DC is converted into high frequency AC. It is stepped down using high frequency transformer and then rectified. So even on this side, you have that uncontrolled rectifier and a capacitor. So the current drawn from the supply is peaky in nature, like this. And it is having dominant third harmonic. This one. So we have seen DC offset, harmonics, interharmonics, and then you have notches. Anything which doesn't come in this category, in these four, that we say is a noise. It's a high frequency, very high frequency component which is present in waveform, and it is not a harmonic, not interharmonic, but anything which is neither harmonic nor interharmonic, that we can say is a noise. And there are several reasons for this particular noise present in the waveform. Now, if you consider the conventional devices like transformer, so transformer draws basically a magnetizing current. And the characteristic of the transformer is like this, magnetizing characteristic. It is not a linear one. It operates somewhere here. And because of this, since the voltage applied is sinusoidal, therefore the flux in the machine, flux in the transformer should be sinusoidal. And to have a sinusoidal flux, the current should be of this nature, which is having a dominant third harmonic. In this figure, the loss component is not shown, but if you consider the hysteresis loss also, then the actual magnetizing current is like this, which is having a dominant third harmonic. dominant third harmonic. So if you analyze this magnetizing current, you can find all sort of current components in this. In fact, this magnetizing current, it keeps on changing with the applied voltage. If the applied voltage is slightly more, then the magnetizing current will also increase. And this particular situation normally comes during morning time when most of the industrial loads are off. Then the voltage at the user end is quite high, distribution end is quite high, and because of that the transformer draws extra magnetizing current, so which is having a dominant fundamental current is curve B. This is the fundamental current, and curve C is the third harmonic component. You can see here. When the percentage is around 120%, the third harmonic component is quite large. Fifth harmonic is there, seventh harmonic is there. So all these harmonic currents, they increase when the voltage is around 120%. And this situation normally comes during morning time. Again, whenever you switch on a transformer, there will be inrush current. We know that, yes, the initial current may be 5 to 7 times the rated current. Although it keeps on decreasing with cycle, but it may be present for good number of cycles. This is also a power quality problem. If you have a fluorescent light, it is something like an arc device. And if you see the voltage across the fluorescent light, it is like this. Applied voltage is this one, but the voltage which is across the tube light is like this. And if you see the current drawn, that current is having a dominant third harmonic component. If you consider any of the FETs devices which are now being used, so they are all having switching devices, maybe any converter, inverter, AC regulator. So they are responsible for the harmonics. Now, we have seen what are the different harmonics present and what are the various causes of harmonics in the current waveform. Now, when this particular distorted current is drawn from the supply, then the voltage drop across this particular impedance, it will be different for different harmonics, because the inductance, the impedance due to this will be proportional to frequency. More the frequency, more will be the drop impedance, and therefore the drop across this particular impedance will be different for different harmonic currents. Even though the generated voltage is sinusoidal, the voltage at this particular point, which we say is the point of common coupling, that voltage will become non-sinusoidal. If everything is sinusoidal, then generated voltage is sinusoidal. A drop is also constant for that fundamental frequency fixed, and the voltage here, it will also be sinusoidal, although voltage will be different than this one. But if it is a distorted load current, then the voltage at this point will be non-sinusoidal. Now, if you connect any other load at this particular point, at point of common coupling, performance of that particular load gets affected, and the reason is you are giving a non-sinusoidal voltage. Say, for example, if you connect an induction machine here and supply and feed power from this point, it means that particular machine is subjected to non-sinusoidal voltage. It will draw non-sinusoidal current. Only the fundamental current is responsible for the torque. Rest of the currents, they simply increase the losses in the machine. Heating will take place, and therefore the machine performance is getting affected. And that's why what we do, we try to, by using these different harmonic elimination techniques, we try to make this particular voltage nearly sinusoidal within the acceptable limit. So this is just in brief. You have power electronic component equipments used. Non-sinusoidal current is drawn because of switching, and therefore harmonics are injected into the network, and therefore distorted voltage is available at the point of common coupling. As I have explained, if the voltage is non-sinusoidal, there will be excessive losses and heating in motors. If you have connected a capacitor, that capacitor may be subjected to non-sinusoidal voltage. There is a possibility of capacitor may get burst. In fact, the transformers, they are also being now subjected to non-sinusoidal voltage. So there will be increased harmonics. There will be overheating due to non-sinusoidal current. There will be insulation failure due to non-sinusoidal voltage. Again, say, if you have, let us say, fundamental and the third harmonic only two, just consider these two components. Fundamental plus third, depending upon the phase relation, you may get a nearly flat top, or you will get more peaky voltage. So magnitude wise, fundamental and third harmonic are same in both the cases. But if you find out the peak value, in one case the peak value will be much higher, and in another case the peak value is reduced. So if the peak value of the voltage becomes higher, it means insulation is subjected to excessive voltage. There is a possibility of insulation failure. There is a possibility of corona discharge because of this over voltage. So it loss of conductor life in residential building. The main problem is about the neutral current, because while doing the wiring, neutral wire is, if it is not properly selected, then that neutral wire is all the entire current is flowing through neutral wire. And since every equipment is drawing third harmonic current, so all those triplets will flow through neutral. Neutral gets overheated. Maybe after some time, neutral gets open, and then there will be voltage fluctuation. And because of these harmonics, your equipment may malfunction. If the neutral is not properly grounded, your computers and other things may not function properly. So in transmission also there will be increased losses, dielectric stress that reduces the life of the capacitor, saturation in transformer, or telecommunication. See, all these current harmonics, they basically flow through the line. And if this distribution line is in parallel with the communication line, now we have this wireless communication, but earlier we used to have those normal communication line. So they run in parallel. And if the frequency of the current harmonics match with the frequency of the transmission, communication, then there is a possibility of crosstalk interference. So either the the communication gets poor, or you may not be able to hear the things. We have seen that THD is basically used to describe the harmonic level, and that THD is RMS value of the harmonic current divided by the fundamental. That's how we define the THD. Similar to THD of the current, we can also define the THD of voltage, where fundamental voltage is here and voltage harmonics are here. Ratio of RMS of the harmonic content to the RMS of the fundamental, all these are RMS values, remember. And we discussed in the previous class, sometimes it is, in fact, ideally harmonic should be 0. So one should say THD should be 0. But certain harmonics will be present. You cannot make it exactly 0. And therefore, supply authorities, they put a limit how much harmonic you can inject into the system. And a typical value is 5%. Although from equipment to equipment, whether it is a low power or it is a high power, whether it is on distribution side or your depending upon it is a industrial one or it is a residential one, the harmonic this THD limit is different, but typical value is 5%. So if it is within 5%, it is fine. But what happens if your load is very light? Like a motor is lightly loaded. Lightly loaded means fundamental current is very small, but harmonics may be of same magnitude. In that case, it appears THD is very high, means very poor quality. And just to avoid this confusion, what we say, we use total demand distortion. So rather than dividing it by fundamental current, we divide it by rated current. So whether it is a lightly loaded or heavily loaded, rated current remains the same. And then if total demand distortion is within permissible limit, 5%, it's fine. And now the question is, if the harmonics are not within limit, you have to do something so that the harmonics come within the permissible range. Now question is, who should put something? A filter. Whether the customer should put a filter, whether the supply authority should put a filter, like that. So division of responsibilities. THD is very, very less, but permitted THD is less than 5%. The control over the amount of harmonic current injected into the system takes place at the end user. Consumer is basically responsible for injecting harmonic current. Supply authority, they are ensuring sinusoidal voltage. The generated voltage is sinusoidal, but the consumer, because of the non-linear load, is responsible for injecting the harmonic current. It means, okay, and even if the harmonic current is within the permissible limits, 5%, the voltage distortion may be more than the permissible limit because of the supply, because of the impedance of the transmission line and the transformers used in between. So it is possible that the user has used a very high power factor type of converters, what we discussed in that particular class, and therefore the harmonic current injected, they are very, very small. But even with these small harmonic currents, due to poor quality of the supply, due to high impedance of the transmission line and the transformer used in between, the voltage at the user end is not sinusoidal and the THD is more. So what is done? First let us see THD. There are different standards. One of the standard which is very much in use is IEEE 519 standard. How much harmonic is permitted in a particular one. For different applications, different countries, they have used different, they are using different standards. I'm just skipping this because these standards, they specify how much current harmonic is permitted, how much supply harmonic is permitted. So the solution is, in fact, if the harmonics are because of, let me complete that division of responsibilities. So if the consumer is injecting harmonics into the system which are more than the permissible limit, then it is the responsibility of the consumer to put appropriate filters to limit the harmonic injection. And as just now we have seen, even if the current harmonics injected are within the permissible limit, the voltage may be highly distorted. So then it is the responsibility of the supply authority to put filters at different point in a distribution system just to ensure that every user gets a sinusoidal voltage. Because just consider a case, you have a resistive load, ideal resistive load, linear load, and you connect it to supply. If the voltage is non-sinusoidal, it will draw non-sinusoidal current. Now the question is, your load is drawing non-sinusoidal current, but it is not because the load is non-sinusoidal, no load is non-linear, it is because the voltage is non-sinusoidal. And therefore, it is the responsibility of the supply authority to provide nearly sinusoidal voltage to all consumers. So if as far as individual loads are concerned, it is for the consumer to put appropriate filters. And as far as the voltage at different point of common coupling are concerned, it is the responsibility of the supply authority to put filters at an appropriate point. What are the possible solutions? We can have passive filters, we can make use of active filters. Classical solution is use of passive filter. So we'll see in detail, little bit in detail. LC circuit we can put at different points to filter out the harmonics. But they have their problems. We'll see that. Recent trend is power electronic based filters, which includes shunt active filter, series active filter, and then unified power quality conditioner, which is basically combination of active series and active shunt filter. Now, first the passive filters. You can reduce the harmonics to as low as 30% by use of passive filters. Passive filters may be parallel filter or series. Parallel filter means the filter which is put in parallel with the load. Series filter means the filter which is put in series with the load. That is the difference between parallel and the series. A filter which is put in parallel with the load, it is having series L and C, and the series filter which is put in series with the load, it is having parallel L and C. See the difference. Parallel filter is characterized as a series resonant trap type exhibiting at a low impedance at its tuned frequency. Mostly we use parallel filter. Or the series filter is characterized as a parallel resonant blocking type with high impedance at its tuned frequency. Let's say made of R, L, and C, and that's why it is called passive filter. Tuned series LC filters are mostly common. Let me come to the, yes, series passive filter. You can see it is put in series with the load, and this series passive filter consists of parallel L and C. Now, because of this parallel combination, at certain frequency, a parallel resonance takes place. And when the parallel resonance takes place, the impedance between these 2 points becomes ideally infinite. It means there will be no component of current that can flow through this. So it basically blocks that particular frequency component to flow through this. Consists of capacitor and inductor in parallel. Its purpose is to prevent a particular frequency from entering into the system, and it is basically used to block third harmonic current. So if you have a dominant third harmonic component, then to block third harmonic component, one may use parallel tuned LC filter in series with the neutral wire that will not allow the third harmonic current to flow. So they have the advantages, provides high impedance. It does not introduce any system resonance. Let me skip this because it improves displacement factor because one of the component is completely eliminated or blocked. But drawback is it handles rated current because it is in series with the load. Then you have a shunt passive filter, which is a parallel filter, but it is a series LC tuned filter. Series combination of L and C. Very popular method to control the propagation of harmonic. In fact, what happens, since it is tuned to a particular frequency, so if a particular that frequency current is injected by the load, it will be absorbed by this filter. And that current will not travel to the line to the rest of this one. So in that way, it basically prevents the propagation of harmonics. It is also referred to as sink because it absorbs the harmonic current. It is installed at AC terminals of rectifiers, drives, UPS. You may consider any non-linear load, power electronic converters. Then parallel L and C are put in parallel with the load. So those non-sinusoid, that the harmonic component of the currents, they will be absorbed by this LC filter, and then this source current, it will be free from that harmonic. But what, okay, provides low impedance to tuned frequency, supply harmonic component to the load, specific harmonic component to the load from this AC source. Supply means normally this particular load, it needs a particular harmonic current from the supply. So if you do not have this particular filter, that current comes from the supply. But if you have a filter, that component is provided by this filter. So either you say that harmonic current is provided by the filter, or you can say the harmonic current injected is absorbed by the filter. Both are same thing. Only the harmonic current flows through the filter, not the full load current, and that's why rating of the filter is very less as compared to this one, as compared to overall rating. A displacement factor is improved, power factor is improved, but the drawback is one filter can be used only for one frequency. If you want to eliminate, let us say, fifth harmonic, seventh harmonic, 11th harmonic, 13th harmonic, you may have to use multiple filters in parallel, one for each harmonic. It can create system resonance. So what happens? This filter is having a capacitor, and this capacitor and you have some inductance here, supply source inductance. So if you see this capacitor and this source inductance, they are in parallel. This C and this L, they are in parallel. So there is a possibility of parallel resonance. And if parallel resonance takes place, it means the impedance of that particular corresponding to that frequency becomes ideally infinite. And if the current is flowing like this, it means that very high impedance into current, it means very high harmonic voltage. It is basically voltage amplification. So because of the parallel resonance that takes place, it creates voltage amplification, harmonic voltage amplification. It can import harmonics from other nonlinear loads. Because this is LC tuned filter, say when it is connected into the system, it is not only that only from the load the current will come. Current may come from the source end also. Source end means it is having other nonlinear loads connected to the network, and those nonlinear loads also, they inject harmonic current. So rather than going to somewhere else, that current may be absorbed by the filter. So it imports harmonic from the other nonlinear loads. Okay, multiple filters that we have already seen. You can have a simple series in reactor. Okay, no capacitor is there, so there is no question of any resonance. Just like in one of the application we have seen, the source inductance acts as a filter, reduces the ripples, but it handles the entire load current. You can have a simple low pass filter also. It eliminates all harmonic frequencies above resonance frequency, that cutoff frequency. No harmonic resonance is introduced by this it's a low pass filter. Its characteristic is like this. It does not import harmonics from other sources, but it handles the entire rated current because that inductor is in series with the load. Whenever you want to design a passive filter, as you can see, that shunt passive filter is the most commonly used filter. Now, while designing this filter, what we try to do, we can just see in brief. We are going to put this shunt passive filter across a particular nonlinear load, parallel load. If we know what are the harmonics being injected by that particular load, we can put appropriate passive filter to eliminate or absorb that particular harmonic. Let us say you want to eliminate 5th, 7th, 11th, and 13th. it means one filter for 5th, one for 7th, one for 11th, one for 13th. And each filter consists of L and C. What is done? How to calculate this L and C? One more thing which you are all aware, that we also, these non-linear loads, they basically they are lagging in nature. They draw lagging current. And therefore, you have to put some sort of a reactive power compensator, maybe a capacitor, to provide the reactive power. So, depending upon the nature of the load, we know how much reactive power that particular load needs. So, to compensate that reactive power, we can calculate how much capacitance is required by that particular load. Once we know the capacitor value, that capacitor provides reactive power corresponding to fundamental frequency. Now we can divide this capacitor maybe in, let us say, 4 equal parts. All parts put together, so the effective capacitance is same, and for fundamental they are providing the reactive power. But just to convert these capacitor into filter, we can put appropriate inductor in series with these capacitor. One inductor in series with gun capacitor for 5th harmonic, another inductor in series with another capacitor to provide 7th harmonic filtering, like that. So corresponding to different frequency components, the individual filter will come into action. But for the fundamental, the inductances are very small, and therefore the capacitance, they come in parallel and they provide the reactive power compensation. So while designing the filter, we basically try to make the terminal voltage or the voltage at the point of common coupling sinusoidal. I'm just skipping this. You can see it. Size of a filter is defined as the reactive power that the filter supplies at fundamental frequency. So on that basis, we can calculate the size. How much, what is the kVA of this particular filter, kVAR. From that kVAR, we can calculate what will be the capacitance value. That capacitance we can divide into equal number of parts depending upon how many filters we want to put. And then in series with each capacitor, we can put appropriate inductor. Let us. One of the problem with the active filter is, if you have seen just that filter is in parallel with the load. Filter also comes in parallel with the source. It means the harmonic current which is injected by the load, ideally it should be completely absorbed by the filter. But it is not that it is exhibiting zero impedance corresponding to that harmonic. So what happens if you see the filter from the load side, filter is in parallel with the source, and therefore this harmonic current is divided between source and the filter. If the source impedance is known, you can say yes, what should be the filter value, so that it absorbs the entire one. But source impedance is something which is not known. It keeps on changing with the operating with the more users are there. Some of the loads are removed, some of the loads are put on the system. So the source impedance keeps on varying from time to time. This is one problem. Second is, if we say the filter is designed for 5th harmonic, Fifth harmonic means not fifth harmonic. It is for a particular frequency. If the supply frequency is 50 hertz, fifth harmonic means 250 hertz. Corresponding to 250 hertz, you have designed L and C. But if let us say the supply frequency becomes 49.5 hertz, so the fifth harmonic will become 247.5 hertz. Your filter will not filter 247.5 hertz properly. And frequency variation, it is something which, although it is very small, but it keeps on taking place. So the filtering characteristic of this passive filter, it is affected because of the source impedance keeps on changing, because of the harmonics that keeps on changing. Source impedance strongly influences the filtering characteristic, not known, and it varies with the system configuration. Frequency, and then one of the problem is your the resonance, and that increases the harmonic component. So what is the other possible way of eliminating the harmonics? Power electronic controller solution means shunt active filter, series active filter, and the unified power quality conditioner. Shunt active filter is just like shunt passive filter. It provides ideally low impedance for that harmonic component, or you can say it acts as a current source and inject the harmonic component required by the load, so that the harmonics are not drawn from the supply, but they are provided by the shunt active power filter. A series active filter is just like a series passive filter. It provides very, very high impedance in line for that harmonic, and therefore no such that particular harmonic is blocked. And if you combine shunt and series, it becomes power quality conditioner, and it is used to compensate sag, swell, interruption, imbalance, flicker, voltage imbalance, harmonics, reactive current, and everything. Now, let's see quickly the shunt active power filter. Just that diagram is sufficient. See, you have a nonlinear load. You have a source. In the absence of this particular active filter, the current is quasi-square. Quasi-square current will come from the source. But you want sinusoidal current. It means we can put an active filter at this point, which is point of common coupling. What this active filter does, it provides a non-sinusoidal current from here, or you can say the difference of desired current and this load current that is absorbed by the filter. Remember one thing, only the fundamental current of this load current is responsible for the power flow. Rest of the components, they only create losses and other problems. It means in this current, fundamental current is like this, and that is supposed to come from the source. If you take the difference of these two, then that includes all harmonics which is of this particular nature. You can take the difference of the two. This includes all harmonic components. So all harmonic components are to be provided by this or to be absorbed by this. In case of passive filter, only one filter can absorb one harmonic. For multiple harmonics, you have to put multiple filters. But in this case, a single active filter can be used for the entire harmonic spectrum. And how this particular filter is realized, if you recall, we discussed that three-phase voltage source inverter. And in that three-phase voltage source inverter, we use different PWM techniques, and there we try to make the output voltage close to sinusoidal. In fact, as far as the load is concerned, if it is a motor type of load, I'm talking of that voltage source inverter. If it is an induction motor, you need basically a sinusoidal current rather than sinusoidal voltage, because current is responsible for the torque, not the voltage. And one of the method which we use, there is a current controlled voltage source inverter. So you have a sinusoidal current. It is compared with the actual current of that particular phase, and then within a hysteresis band we can switch on upper and the lower device so that actual phase current follows the sinusoidal reference current. Now there the requirement is of sinusoidal load current, so we used sinusoidal reference current, but here the requirement is this non-sinusoidal current. And if we can somehow generate this type of reference current, we can compare this actual current with this one and then operate this inverter so that the line current follows this particular shape, and then the system can work. So this active filter is basically a current control type of voltage source inverter. You can see here, you have non-linear load, you have a inverter, through coupling inductor it is connected to this load. So the current which is source current minus this load current, that is equal to, you can say, is the capacitor current. Or you can say if a current is, harmonic current is injected from this side, it is absorbed by this filter and only the sine wave sinusoidal current goes into the system. Now one thing you can note that the current which will flow through these lines, they are harmonic currents. And since the voltage is sinusoidal, currents are harmonic currents, it means there is no power flow from this to this or from this to this. Sinusoidal voltage multiplied by currents of other frequencies, their average value will be 0. It means there is no power flow from supply to the filter and from filter to supply. Now if there is no power flow in this, then on this side you don't need any active source. A capacitor is enough to provide the path for the current. When we say no power flow, it means on an average there is no power flow. So power is absorbed in one part of the cycle, power is returned in the other part of the cycle. And thus the average power flow from the source to this particular side, that is 0. And since no power is real power is flowing, so assuming the losses to be absent, this side you need only a capacitor. Practically what happens when the current flows through this, switching takes place, switching losses takes place, and therefore some amount of power is required from this side also. So main power is going to this side, but a small amount of active power is also drawn by the filter just to overcome the losses in taking place in the switching devices and in this capacitor. Otherwise, capacitor is getting charged and discharged. On an average, the capacitor voltage is constant. You can see a sinusoidal voltage, you need sinusoidal source current. But the actual load current is non-sinusoidal. If you take the difference of the two, it is like this. Whatever is the current difference, just opposite to this current will be supplied by the filter, and therefore in that way the source current is made sinusoidal. You can also see that here this desired source current is kept in phase with the voltage. It means not only the harmonic compensation, even the reactive power compensation also takes place. So the active filter is providing the reactive power also. If you want to reduce the rating of the active filter, you can say that only the harmonic compensation takes place, and therefore the desired source current will not be in phase with the voltage, may be lagging by certain angle. So active power and the reactive power also comes from the source to the load. But if the core source current is in phase with the voltage, it means neither the reactive power nor the harmonic power is coming from the source. The entire one is provided by the active filter, and it is used both for reactive power as well as for harmonic compensation. So using source voltage or the source current or the load current, one can decide what will be the desired current from the current through filter. So question is which voltage or which current one should measure. And once you have measured these quantities, desired one, then the question is how to calculate the desired reference current for the filter. And third is once you have the desired current, how to realize the large capacity non-sinusoidal current source. This we have seen using current controlled voltage source inverter. We can realize a non-sinusoidal current source because the reference current decides what will be the actual current. If that reference current is non-sinusoidal, actual current is also non-sinusoidal. Question is how to find out this reference current. There are different methods of classification. Let me skip this. We have this shunt active filter, which is basically the same diagram that we have seen. So this load current is having harmonics and it is absorbing the harmonics. It means source current is free from harmonic. You can have series filter. You can see current is not drawn, only it provides appropriate impedance for a particular harmonic. So if there is any distortion in the voltage, that distortion in the voltage can be compensated by injecting a voltage in opposite direction. In this case, the current harmonics are not going to be compensated, and that's why the nature of the load is RC rather than RL. They have their comparison. I'm just escaping this. You can also use hybrid, because if you are using active filter alone, the problem is active filter is made of switches, and if high current is switched on or switched off, then the switching losses will be more. So what is done normally, that this active filter, it is put in parallel with the passive filter. Passive filter doesn't need any operation control, but it absorbs a good amount of harmonics injected by the load, not the complete one. It is not, it absorbs a good amount of harmonics injected by the load due to LNC. And then whatever is left out, that is taken care by the shunt active filter. So the rating of the shunt active filter is reduced, and the reliability of the system also improves. You can also have shunt passive in parallel with series active. What happens in this case? This series active filter, it provides very high impedance to a particular harmonic current, and that harmonic current is forced to flow through shunt passive filter. Dr. Amrish? Dr.
Yes,
Amrish,
sir. Yes, sir.
how much extra time I can take?
10 minutes, sir, up to 11
Okay,
minutes.
I'll take another 5 to 10 minutes maximum.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
So this particular series active filter, it provides very high impedance to the harmonic current coming from this, and because of that high impedance, that harmonic current is forced to flow through shunt passive filter. Then it can be put in series with the passive filter. It reduces the rating of the series active filter. The current controlled voltage source inverter, it is basically having this particular configuration. You can also have a current source inverter, but then the control will be slightly different. We can do the control either in frequency domain or in time domain. Frequency domain means we have to do the harmonic analysis of the load current, find out which harmonic, what are the harmonics present and what are to be eliminated. And then we can use appropriate method to compensate those harmonics. But the problem with the frequency domain is that unless you have the complete cycle of waveform, you cannot apply the periodic Fourier analysis. You must have the entire waveform, steady state waveform, periodic waveform, then only you can find out the harmonics. What happens in actual system? Load keeps on changing, and you want that filter should compensate the harmonic as early as possible. You cannot wait for the harmonic currents to flow for even for one cycle and then you find out the harmonic spectrum. So frequency domain is not basically useful in that sense. Time domain is the most commonly used, where you can instantaneously find out what will be the compensating current magnitude. If it is harmonic detection method, load current, maybe filter current is just opposite to the load current. Supply current detection means the filter current is some constant times the supply current harmonic, Voltage detection means it is proportional to voltage. In fact, out of these three methods, first two methods are basically used by the individual customer to put the filter, because you know the load current, you know how much harmonics are injected by that load. But as far as this third one is concerned, it is basically used by the supply authorities, because there is nothing like a load. At point of common coupling, several generators and the loads are connected. So you cannot say which particular load you are talking of. Your only aim is to make the voltage at that particular point of common coupling sinusoidal. So we basically measure the voltage harmonics at that PCC and then put a filter at that PCC to absorb the harmonics coming from anywhere, so that the particular voltage becomes harmonic free. Okay, let me skip this. One simple diagram is this. You have the actual load current. You can put a filter, whether it is 50 hertz or 60 hertz. So you will get only the fundamental current, and you can find out the peak value. Now, forget about this particular one for the time being. This peak value, if you multiply with the sinusoidal voltage, you will get the desired source current. And load current minus this desired source current is the reference current for the filter, which you can compare with the actual filter current, and then the pulses are generated for the devices. So using this particular filter, we are finding the fundamental current, peak value, and multiplied by this, then it gives you sinusoidal, and it gives you the reference current for the filter. Here you will get the all harmonic components. This is the fundamental, this is the actual load, difference is the harmonic component. Now, as far as this part is concerned, what we have seen just now, since losses are taking place in the filter, therefore you have to provide the loss component from the source side. And loss component, how to get that particular component, how much active power should come from the source to the filter. For that, we basically sense the capacitor voltage. If the capacitor voltage is maintained constant, it means the losses taking place in the filter are being taken care. It means we sense the capacitor voltage, compare with the reference voltage, and then a PI controller will decide how much active component should come from the supply. This is the active component, fundamental frequency component that is coming from the supply to the filter. This much component is basically going to, so appropriate plus minus signs are used, and in this way this reference current is calculated. This is one diagram. Here you have two active filters, one here, another here, put close to nonlinear load. Now this filter is basically based on low switching frequency devices. This is based on high switching frequency devices. So your load current is non-sinusoidal. Because of low switching frequency, it is injecting a current of this nature, and therefore the resultant current at this particular point is like this, which is not sinusoidal but close to sinusoidal. Then you have another filter which is based on high frequency devices. It is injecting this particular type of current, and therefore the resultant current from the source is sinusoidal. If you are using this filter in high rating, high voltage system, you have to use a transformer. But because of the transformer, which is not designed for variable frequency operation, your compensation will not be appropriate. Transformers, they are designed for a particular frequency, not for all sort of harmonic frequencies. So we go for multi-level inverter. So you can have cascade H-bridge type of multi-level inverter. You can have this neutral point clamped multi-level inverter, and that is used with the nonlinear load. So operation is same. You have non-sinusoidal current, and this type of current is injected by multi-level inverter. So the resultant current becomes this. As far as time domain is concerned, what is done? Let me just explain in words because it's difficult to compare and discuss the entire thing in short period. As you have now understood that only the fundamental current is responsible for the power flow. So what is done? In this case, we basically calculate the power VIA, VAIA, VBIB plus VCIC. Now, voltages are sinusoidal, currents are non-sinusoidal. But this VIA plus VBIB plus VCIC gives you the power. And if you find out the average of this, you will get basically the active power flow from the source to the load. And this active power is only because of the fundamental current. So from this instantaneous power that we are getting, if we can find out the average value, that average value means that is the average power going from the source to the load. And so using a filter, we can find out the DC component of that power, instantaneous power. From that particular that instantaneous component, if we divide it by sinusoidal voltage VA, VB, VC, we'll get the sinusoidal current IA, IB, IC. Then we can take the difference of this current with the actual load current, we'll get the harmonic currents. Like here. Instantaneous power calculation, VAI, VB, IC, ILA, ILB, IC, will get active and the reactive power in your P and Q. Active and the reactive power. Whichever component we want to compensate, we can find out that component by using appropriate filter. In that, we can also include the loss component which is taking place here. Rather than the current, we are now talking in terms of loss. And then using these voltages again, we can find out what will be the instantaneous compensating current. And then we can compare it with the actual current drawn by the filter and generate the pulses for this one. So let me finish at this point. This is how this particular shunt active filter works. There are several methods of implementing this, whether you want sinusoidal current, whether you want minimum RMS current, or whether you want your this voltage waveform same as the current voltage and current waveform identical. So with this, let me close. If you have any query, because it's difficult to compare the complete this in this lecture. Yes, any query?
So now all the participant, if you have query in your mind, then you can ask to sir, because he is having the sufficient industrial exposure also. He has done many projects for the Indian Railway also. So if you have any query regarding to the subject, regarding to the practical applications of anything, you can ask now. Yes, any of the participants?
Sir, good morning, sir.
Yes,
Sir, I'm Ragni from Coimbatore, sir. I'm a full-time research scholar working in the field of shunt active powertrain, sir.
I am unable to just please.
Your
Let,
voice is not clear.
Sir, now it's clear.
yes, please go.
Sir,
Please.
I'm working under shunt active powertrain only, sir. So I've designed a PI from the sliding mode controller for non-linear load with intelligent techniques also, sir. So my doubt is that almost simulation work is completed. Kindly guide me how the simulation model is implemented in real-time applications.
Okay, what I have understood that you have done the simulation. Now you want to implement in actual system. That's the
Yes,
question, no?
sir. Yes, sir. That's it. That question.
Okay, say there are different ways of implementing. One way, one method which most of the research scholars are using these days, they make use of DSpace. So in that DSpace, there is an option. You can, once you have finished your simulation work, you can simply download that simulation to your DSpace unit. It will take the voltage and the currents through sensors and generate the necessary control system, control pulses. So minimum time is required for the implementation. Instead of DSpace, you may also use Opel RT system that also generates the control signals in on similar lines. You can use DSP kits also, but if you are using DSP kits, you have to write down your program for the desired control. That will be little bit challenging and time consuming, and you should know the DSP also. But if you are using DSpace or the Opel RT, then the implementation of the simulation work and implementation, real-time implementation of the simulated work is very simple.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
So, any other participants?
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, clear. Please go.
Yeah, sir. I'm from Pune. Actually, I am a research scholar, and I'm actually my background is electronics, and I'm working on the modulation technique for multi-level inverters.
Yes.
My query is, we can use the multi-level inverter for DC to AC conversion. So here,
Mhm.
what we today I understood that it can be used for what can say as an active filter also.
See, as far as multi-level inverter is concerned, it is just like your normal two-level inverter. Only
Yeah.
thing is the number of levels are different. And wherever you are using inverter, two-level inverter, you can very well use multi-level inverter, whether it is your drive application, whether it is your power quality application, whether
Right.
it is a STATCOM or the reactive power compensation. Anywhere you can use multi-level inverter in place of two-level
Two-level.
inverter.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
So,
Hello, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, we have so many methods to calculate current reference calculation. Sir,
Hmm.
which is the effective way to calculate the current reference, sir?
To calculate the current reference, the best method is, as I said, time domain. Because time domain, you only have to measure instantaneous voltage and the instantaneous current, and from those instantaneous voltage and the currents, you can get the instantaneous compensating current reference. If you are doing, if you are doing using in frequency domain, then it is not, you won't get the instantaneous one quickly. You have to wait for the complete waveform to be sampled, then only you can find out the harmonic component. So that PQ theory you must have heard, instantaneous reactive power theory, is basically in time domain it is implemented.
Thank you, sir. Sir, one more doubt, sir.
Yes.
Sir, basically, the operation of STATCOM and shunt active filters are same, sir, or is there any difference?
It is exactly same. The power units are exactly same, but the only difference is when we operate that as a react as a as a STATCOM, then we basically consider the fundamental component of the current. But when we operate it as harmonic compensation, then we consider the harmonic components of the load current. Because in one case, the STATCOM is, or that inverter, I should say, inverter should provide the reactive power. That reactive power is corresponding to fundamental current. And in the other case, the inverter is supposed to provide the harmonic current. So power unit is same. You can say the control is also same, but only thing is in one case it is for reactive power compensation based on fundamental current. In another case, it is for harmonic compensation based on the harmonic component of the currents. That's why this shunt active power filter can be used either only for harmonic compensation, can be used either as reactive power compensation, or can be used both for reactive as well as harmonic compensation together. Rating may differ depending upon the requirement.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
So
Good morning, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, this three-phase, three-wire shunt filter has been showing this three-phase, three-wire topology has been there, and this voltage source converter has been represented. We can use this as a D-STATCOM. I'm right?
Please repeat.
This voltage source converter is there in that in this figure. This three-phase, three-wire. Okay. This voltage source converter can be used as a D-STATCOM at the night mode.
That's what I said. Yes, it can be used as a day STATCOM.
And sir, actually, this whatever the slide is there, I am using this. This is my project from a control system, and for this, for stability analysis, I am using a Lipnaus stability method. Can a different stability for a different method can be used for this stability, or Lipnaus is the best to control for the controlling purpose, sir?
Um, Difficult to say that now is the best because nothing is written in the available in the literature about which one is the best method. People have used different methods to make the system stable. It has nothing to do with this application. As per the Lyapunov stability method or any other method you can consider, whatever their advantages and drawbacks are there, it is equally applicable in this application. Means it is difficult to say which one is the best method. Okay,
And second,
if you
sir,
are using Lyapunov stability method and you are getting the result, it's fine. It's fine. Nothing is abnormal in this. It's not that it is not a good method. It is equally used.
And second thing, sir, suppose if the order of the system has been increased, for example, second order or third order, what will be the effect on the stability? If the stability will be improved or the because the system is getting more complex, no, sir, with this. So what should be done in order to improve the circuits?
If the order of the system increases, what should be done to improve the stability? Actually,
Yes,
all
sir.
I cannot comment directly, but as far as these stability methods are concerned, uh, if we have a first order and a second order system, we can easily find out what will be the your proportional and the integral gains. But if the order of the system is high, then all these methods which are independent of the order of the system, they are used to find out the controller gain. One method
Yes,
which
sir.
I have used is your departitioning method to find out the controller gain. It has nothing to do with the order of the system. Order may be anything. Order may be anything.
Okay, sir.
And then you can find out the controller gains and it will work fine. Only thing is, if you are using some methods available in the book, like their order makes a difference because you may not be able to find out the parameter of the controllers for higher orders.
Yes,
But
sir. Yes.
otherwise, the methods which are like Lyapunov stability criteria, etc., they can be used for any order of the system.
Okay, sir.
Hmm.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So, thank you, sir, very much for being with us here today. It was
Okay.
a very nice.
Yeah, I also enjoyed taking. In fact, today also, while delivering this particular talk, I understood one particular point.
Yes, sir.
So
That
it
is
is.
absolutely good, sir.
Okay then. Okay,
Okay,
bye.
okay. Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
bye.
Thank you. Okay, okay. Thank you, sir.